Right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, councillors, Sharon, and members of the public. Thank you. And online as well. Good evening. Okay, apologies for absence. We've received two from councillors Bob Cartwright and Tim Snaden. And I propose that we accept those apologies. Seconded and all in favour. Thank you. Declarations of interest. I have nothing that I'm aware of. David?
None that I'm aware of.
Roger?
None that I'm aware of.
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 Thank you, councillors. Okay, to consider and approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 2nd of July. Are we in agreement that they read accordingly as proposed by Martin, seconded by Roger? All in favour? Thank you for approving those minutes. I'll sign them off at the end of the meeting.
Chairman, I'm just going to abstain because I wasn't here, so I don't know.
Okay, Marianne, thank you. Right, the Chair's report. 12 little items here, so I'll just rattle through them. Footpath on Falcon Close to Bristol Road closed on the 28th of July for 2 days, but we understand it's still closed. For Bristol Waterwork. The High Street from Clarence House into Brampton Way up to Court Close. That's closed from August the 4th for a maximum of 15 days for Wales and West Works. That's ongoing work in Brampton Way, which has been going on for ages. Cadbury Road from junction with Brampton Way to outside number 25. That's closed from the 27th of October for 26 days, again for Wales and West. We thought you were absent. We'll remove your apology, Councillor Snaden. Thank you for turning up, Tim. Great. Right. And Sue's here. So 5.4, feedback on attending and responding to the planning applications workshop on the 9th of July. David and I went to this particular workshop, which was hosted by Nailsea Town Council. They had a speaker in who was an architect planner from Taunton. And we were there for a couple of hours, weren't we, having a fairly lengthy slide presentation and discussion. I think both of us felt that it was appropriate. Perhaps, what do we feel? That it was a little basic in places, but overall, I think it was worth attending.
Not for me, it wasn't basic, but it was good. I thought, and we're at different stages of knowledge in this area, but I thought it was good. It was actually good to hear from other councillors. There were a couple of other parish councils represented, Nailsea.
Yes, there were.
Blacksburton as well.
Yeah,
it's good to hear. I have the big concern that was most of them were worried about were the new developments and how they respond to those. But
yes,
it was a good trading session.
I felt could have been a little bit more about the current legislation, which was skirted over, I think, a little too much. But there were, 24 people there, something in that region? Right. The government announcement to change planning appeals process from the late 25 by minimising and limiting the level of evidence to the original submission, thereby reducing delays by new evidence. We shall see how it goes. Government published its English devolution bill, clarifying the routes of devolution, mayoral reform, local government reorganisation, community rights and land ownership. Details are available with the following website, English Devolution and Community Empowerment Bill. Advance notice of planning application from WHP Telecoms, Cellnex, for proposed communication installations upgrade for Cellnex at Redcliffe Bay, land on Western Lodge Farm. That could be the telecommunications post that's already there. Would that be probably the case, I think? Battery Lane. There's a concern over the integrity of a wall. That's the property known as the Abbey. It's the rear wall where there's a large bay tree that's pushing it over, sadly. And it's been brought to our attention, and I think we'll be chasing it up a little. David, do you want to add to that?
Only to say that a couple of residents have independently reported their concerns to me. Seeing the angle of the wall relative to the one next to it, it seems to me like it's only a matter of time before it falls into Battery Lane.
Yes.
And I think we're all mindful of recent fatalities in Bristol following the collapse of a wall.
true enough, yes.
So I think we should do anything we can to ensure it's made safe.
Yeah, I agree with you. And a few weeks ago, I did go around and knock on the door and spoke to the owner's son. But anyway, I think we'll need to perhaps send a letter. I think, we in agreement about that?
Yeah, sorry. For us as a town council to send a letter to the owner of the property, yeah. Should we also notify North Somerset as it's potentially going to fall onto a highway?
We have actually been in touch with building control.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, Portishead devolution consultation update. Paul, would you like to fill us in on that, please?
Yeah, so for residents who don't know, devolution, what is that? North Somerset is looking to transfer some assets and, as they call them, and services to Portishead Town Council. The rationale for that is they've run out of money and they're looking to offload the costs as well as the assets onto us. There we go. It's an opportunity as well. It includes the lake ground, Somerset Hall, all the play areas. So if we do nothing, play areas all shut and the town will become dilapidated. So a bit of a Hobson's choice, but it's a great opportunity for us to take control of many things that used to belong to Portishead before they were removed by Act of Parliament in 1974, for the historians amongst you. So the consultation, thanks you to all the residents who took part. I think it was 665 or 656, I forget which way around. People responded. That was great. 80% of people are either strongly agreeing or agreeing that the town council should take over said assets, which was great. 11% were undecided and 8.5% were against. Obviously, concerns were around the money, naturally. So we're proceeding to further discussions with North Somerset. We've been told that we're a bit too quick for them. We're working a bit too fast. Anyway, we'll take that as a compliment. But anyway, after some months of not great progress, we actually had a very constructive meeting last week. So I can see that there's now a basis for negotiation. So we will continue with that. And there will obviously be further discussions, consultation when we actually have something firm to put on the table, because at the moment they've not given us enough information to really sort of be clear about future costs. But clearly there will be an impact on the local council tax, which is called the precept. So, all right, so that's a very brief update.
Thank you, Paul.
Can I just add a couple of other things? Is that all right?
Yes.
So I just want to give people, obviously the travellers are around at the moment. For those of you who know, they were on Kilkenny Fields, they're now on the Bristol Road Fields. We have to follow due process, which takes time, which we will do that. I've also, they basically went in through the football club entrance. So I've been in touch with the football club, and the best way to prevent this in the future is to build grass mounds, which are about that high, which are called bunds, B-U-N-D-S. For those of you who live somewhere near Merlin Park, you will have seen those to basically stops the caravans going over the top. So future preventative action. Okay. And one more quickly if I can. Well, two more actually.
I was just going to mention about the bunds. I mean, in the short term, for example, Kilkenny, could that get blocked off with maybe concrete triangular bunds?
North Somerset they're looking at an option with bollards, but no bollards. So I'm sorry, we should say Kilkenny Fields is North Somerset's land, whereas the Bristol Road Fields are the town council's land. They went through the football club car park. Yes. They went through the gate into the car park. Yeah. But as we know, just putting more locks on the gate doesn't make any difference, because they send out scouts with bolt cutters. The scout basically will break the lock, and then they'll turn up and say, "Oh, well, the gate was open." So we have to be a bit more sophisticated than that in our response. So something for that. Yeah. Just as something that would interest members of the public, I've just had a call with ALCA, which is the local government association, but apparently the current government is going to bring us into the 21st century, and they're going to put legislation forward in next May to allow us to run hybrid meetings as we are now, and for councillors to be allowed to be remote and to vote by proxy. How about that? I know there's some residents here would be quite interested in that. So,
Well, that means I could be sitting here on my own.
you could, yes. That's, don't take it personally. Yes. I thought it was just of interest. And finally, the other one. What's the other one? It was there's the local government's review as well, which was raised. So there's the chap who's the ALCA rep is a chap called Barnaby. So I don't know, Mike, whether we want to discuss this later on, but he told me that. So I'm going to have a call with him tomorrow, because I said there were some things we weren't happy about, and he was happy to take our views. So perhaps we can discuss that later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's already down here, actually,
Okay.
Paul.
Thank you.
Just then to inform you that the devolution library consultation, which is running from the end of July to the 24th of October, and we'll put it on our agenda next month at planning. Parish Councils Airport Association, Martin, you're the representative on that. The minutes of the AGM and ordinary meeting held on the 19th of June have been made available to anyone if it's upstairs. Draft recommendation for the community governance review have been approved by North Somerset Council Planning and PNR, Planning and Regulatory Committee, and the full report is available online, agenda for Planning and Regulatory Committee on Wednesday the 16th of July. And that was circulated to members on the 5th of August, and formal consultation offered in September, October. Members have been offered a virtual drop-in session on the Thursday, the 14th.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
I just need to go and take a call. It's to do with the issue of the day. Right, but I'll be back. Is that all right if I do that?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you want to join this virtual drop-in session on the 14th of August, that's next Thursday between 11 and 12:30, members to let office know if they wish to join. I've been handed this
That's just a little summary. I don't know if you want to go through all of that.
summary of the consultation. Yeah.
Bit of a particular report.
For Portishead, in the governance review, they have suggested that the number of councillors is increased from 14 to 18. ALCA have suggested it goes up to about 23. We suggested it went up 1 to 15. And that Moorgate, which is currently in the parish of Portbury, although it's attached to the Vale estate, which is comprising of 58 dwellings, we felt that it should be incorporated into the parish of Portishead, and that has been agreed. So subject to, I suppose, Portbury agreeing as well, because they'll lose a bit of precept and we'll gain some. But as we all know, it's quite away from Portbury Village.
When you say it's been agreed,
In principle.
So yeah, what's happened is they've put out for consultation. Anybody and everybody has put their two penneth worth in, and then they've listed the things that they think have merit, which will go out to consultation.
Yes.
So I do note that one of the things that put in was a request from somebody to disband every single council and make North Somerset responsible for everything. I didn't see that one in there, so I think maybe they thought that one didn't have merit.
That was all the ones that had merit. I didn't go into ones that didn't have merit.
Yeah,
the consult on those, don't they?
So the second round of public consultation will be throughout September and October.
To join that briefing, let me know.
Yes, if anyone wants to go to the briefing, or let Sharon know.
Before we continue, Chairman, can we just have Tim's declarations because he joined after the...
Indeed.
None I'm aware of.
None that you're aware of. Thank you. Okay, councillors, that concludes the reports there, and so we'll go into public participation. So, members of the public, who would like to speak first? Thanks, Bob. If you could.
just use his first. Let's not forget we've got someone online as well.
There's an item further on, 822, which is the third request for double yellow lines to be put on the Downs entry and on Down Road by the school access by the side. Bit of history to this. Before I was a councillor, so we're talking 2018, something like that, we tried. And that was on the back of the school expanding. That was refused by the then Tory council, one particular councillor. We then applied again when I was a councillor, and that was refused by someone who you're all probably well aware of, who works in the transport area that blocks everything that we ever suggested, I think. And so this is the third application.
And see it well.
And basically, I think it's come to a head recently. There's a number of people in the Downs, in particular, perhaps, where that road's been there a while. I've been there since 1970, and we've had emergencies of health. We've had people pass away even last week, unfortunately. And people are worried about the access. And literally, at school time, morning and afternoon, it's almost impossible because there's parking on both sides of the small part of the Downs. And the other problem with that is that the teachers, unfortunately, will park on that road and they're there all day. And so that again is an issue because it means people can't. There's a couple of guys who got caravans on that part of the Downs Road. It's almost impossible to get them off their drive. Then there's the other aspect is the road out on Down Road, where pulling out of the Downs is frightening. You probably all know my background, but when I had a race car, we had it on a trailer. When I pulled out and looked to my right, because I could only see because of the way parked cars were, and thought, well, that's the end of the car. But he stopped, luckily. When people park dead opposite that turning, there's nowhere to go. You can't get onto the right side of the road because they're parked opposite the turning. And so that's an issue. So we've requested through council to have this, and it's on item on there. We've got a couple of letters. We've handed one in. There's another one here. I won't read them out, but I'll make sure Sharon's got them all from the people on that part of the road that are affected. But it does affect the whole of the Deans and the Downs. And there's one short one that I'd like to sort of read out, because this is, people think, oh, it's just, you know, they're moaning again. February 22, which must have been the second, kicked off the second application for something to be done. On the afternoon school run, the house opposite me, somebody whilst turning round just outside our house, this is the guy saying opposite, hit the trailer that he had parked on his drive, crashed the security post that it was attached to, pushed the trailer through next door's wall and broke the back of the trailer. And obviously they did nothing to say sorry or anything. That's the sort of problem that worries people. A lot of people, they shouldn't come onto the Deans because at the end it's got one of these boxes that says you shouldn't come on the right sides, but they don't take any notice. And they turn, rather than just go down about 10 houses, there's a turning, you know, back in and come out, they'll put back up onto the drive. You know, I've actually spoken to somebody as he backed onto my drive and said, you know, can I help you? Yeah, it's crackers. So the whole area has suffered a lot and it isn't getting any better. And so from a safety, road safety point of view, we've applied to have these double yellow lines put in with, you know, evidence or requests from the houses actually on that bit of road.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Yes, Roger. Yes.
I'd like to ask Bob a question, actually. Bob, you were on this council when it was refused last time. Did they give a reason for refusal?
I think the favourite, because there was a whole lot of stuff we put in.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Paul. Oh, there it is. Paul. Oh, no. There was a whole lot of stuff put in. The comment that came back on a lot of our requests was, we like parked cars, it slows the traffic down.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
One of the reasons I resigned is because I can't deal with that sort of thing. I don't know, I didn't hit him then. I would if I saw him again now. But it's just stupid comments like that. The other problem that we had was that going to the first one, which was it was the Tory local councillor then that we got rid of. David Jolly. Yeah. He claimed he'd spoken to all the houses out on the main road where we'd like the yellow opposite the turning. And none of them wanted it. And I said, well, that's strange because one of the main people who asked for it is out there. And she's a lady that unfortunately works for the council and couldn't make a fuss because we all know what would happen if she had. And so he just told lies then, but I managed to get it stopped. It's still an issue probably because one of the houses I think is multiple occupancy. And so they got lots of cars and they just park them out on the road.
Yeah.
But it does make that pull out very difficult. It's also against highway code. The highway code quite clearly states that you should not park opposite a T-junction.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because I know that down where I live, around the Vale, we've recently had double yellow lines painted at the end of Queenscote, I think it is, down there, which was a particularly tight and awkward turning. And I think the main reason for them doing that was because the bin lorries couldn't get down there.
Yeah.
So that was requested about 2 years ago. So in the whole scheme of things, that's relatively quick, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it seems the time's right to put in another application now.
I think the other thing is as far as I understand, there's a different system now, where before we'll come to Portishead every 3 or 4 years and have a look at you, and that was what they did. Whereas now I think you can actually put it in and it goes in a process and
yes,
a much better chance of getting it done before that.
We'll make sure it goes into that process.
Yeah.
Your colleague friend wants to also have.
Thanks, Paul Dunn. I live at 3 The Deans next door.
And your name?
Next door to Paul Dunn.
Okay.
I want to give a practical example if I can. Well, 2. Unfortunately, my wife suffers from quite poor health. She goes to the doctors in a variety of hospitals on a regular basis. And one day last week, we were going for a hospital appointment. We always try to leave a good time. And we pulled out of the Deans. And if you can visualise it, you'll know down road, and you know that the Downs comes off it. People are parked on both sides of Downs Road, and then you've got cars on each side of that waiting to come through. And so they usually try to take it in turns. Some are pulling into the Downs, and you've got people trying to get out of the Downs. So people are driving in, and people are trying to drive out. And unless someone reverses, and I often reverse out onto Down Road, then it can't move. And we were trying to get out, and a car came down. I didn't have far to reverse, so I reversed, and this car came through. I went about another 10 metres. 2 other cars came in to drop their kids off, came in, and I sat there. I thought, well, I can't keep doing this. It was a hospital appointment. And in the end, I sat there, and 2 cars reversed about 30 metres and tried to navigate in reverse onto Down Road so I could get out. That's a very common occurrence. We have a regular delivery on a Friday morning, Riverford, and the driver said to me 3 weeks ago, he said, I can't believe it. I've been out there for 5 minutes. He said, in the end, the guy got out of the car and walked over to someone and threatened to punch him. He said, because this guy had been trying to get out, and he said it was the 3rd time he'd reversed to let people come off Down Road, and in the end, he refused to. He turned his car off and sat there. And someone who was trying to come down got out of their car and came over and was threatening him because he was refusing to reverse. I mean, it's not like that every day, but it is really a regular occurrence. And so I think it's also it's about a number of factors, but it's been serious for a long, long time. And I think if you can help us do something about it, it'd be very well.
I think we're probably all in agreement that we'll get it onto this agenda. And right, Ward Councillor, what's your take on the matter? Swing one of the mics round.
When I saw this on the agenda, I went to North Somerset's website and had a good look. And it does give certain things that you can and can't do and whatever. But I think it is worth you applying to North Somerset about the in and out there, because that has been a problem for many, many years. And even though the school is now getting smaller, because instead of having 3 classes per year, they are gradually going through the school to 2 classes a year. Mm-hmm. So instead of having 90, or a possible 90 children per year, it will be down to 60. All of the parents, if you have a look at the school website and look at their travel plan, you will see that they are asking parents. They cannot say you must, but all they can do is ask, and they ask for all of them to park at least 5 minutes walk away, so that children have that walk to school. But it also means that cars and everything are further away. But so, yes, I would say look at that. The other point that you make on the agenda is about the H bars. That's also on North Somerset's website. And it does say that if you want to apply for a marking, which is what it's called, it says if your ward councillor, if you live in Clevedon, Nailsea, Portishead, or Weston-super-Mare, is that you contact your ward councillor. And if you live elsewhere in North Somerset, then you contact your parish council. I am happy. Sorry, let's go back. It says that they will then review the application and everything. But it does say, and I'm blowed if I can find it for the minute.
You suggest?
Yes. And part of it in what happens next is that the councillor or parish council will explain the decision in writing. If they approve your request, in other words, if somebody who wants to have an H-bar in front of their driveway, if they live in Portishead, then they come and ask the North Somerset councillor. We will then say, if we are happy, and in this case, I am very happy, then they should forward a letter to the councillor with any supporting information. Then, of course, we would then pass that on, and North Somerset will then invoice the person for £193. Yes. No, it went up a while ago. And this will include the marking on the next available lining work order from the contractor, and the width of the H-bar will be 50 millimetres.
Right, thank you.
Okay, so if anybody in that area wants to contact me, I'm more than happy to put that forward to you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sue. Well, are you planning to stay for the rest of the meeting? Because it is actually further on the agenda, and I could allow you then to drop in. But as we're discussing it, quickly then, Bob.
Yeah, the H-bar thing's interesting. There were a number of people.
Start again.
The H-bar thing is an interesting one. When I was a councillor, there were a number of people on the marina area. One in particular who had an invalid husband, and people were parking outside her house, and we got the H-bar put in. The cost was £100. To make it 193 is probably going to take out on most people's pay bracket, that they're not going to pay it. So I think that's a very nasty way to stop it happening, to be perfectly honest. I can't see how you can justify. But how long did you say it was? 50, was it 5 meters? Did you say it was? I don't see how you could justify.
It's from North Somerset Station.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it. The width is 50 millimeters. I can't, you know, I mean, give me a tin of paint and I'll do it. You know,
It does sound like
it's
a rather
crackers.
inflationary figure. Yeah.
That seems very, very dear. And I don't think the people along there, there are a couple of young families, they're not going to spend £200 to try and get the right to pull onto their own drive. I mean, that's all they're asking for.
Mm-mm. Understandable. Okay, briefly.
Can I just say, surprisingly enough, we had this exact same conversation in Cabinet today, where Mike Bell said some very similar things about it. I understand from Highways that that's a recharge of the cost to them. So that the cost to them has increased and therefore they're recharging that cost. They tell me they're not allowed to make profits on doing H-bars, so they can only recharge at cost.
All right. Sue, are you still a governor at Highdown? You are still, right. Yes, please do. Just introduce yourself to the committee, please, and mention.
Okay, good evening. Pleasure to be here. Myself is Andrew Norgard Ettel, and with my wife Charlotte, we've recently moved to Portishead, and we're residing at 10 Kilkenny Place. The reason for us being here tonight is twofold, actually. The first is obviously to see how the proceedings work here, and we're quite interested, obviously, to meet the councillors and support the work that you evidently do in very, very great detail. And we look forward to being involved in the community in the future in whichever way we can. So we plan to be here, and well, for the rest of our lives, we plan to be here. So hopefully we can get involved. Secondly, we're here really because we have a vested interest, because item 7 was the following planning applications will be considered. And we weren't too sure how this would work this evening, whether you go through every application and whether there are any discussions over it, rights and wrongs and whys and wherefores, whatever. So we're here basically just to support our application for the erection of a single-story rear extension and enlargement of the existing rear balcony, all of which is in line with what previous residents have done and the current decor and layout of the building. Mr. Chairman has already been involved to some minor degree with that as well. So we're just here really to support that. So if there's anything we need to discuss to support our application, then we're here ready to do that. If there's anyone that has anything to say other than that, then we are here. But that's the reason for our joining today.
Do any councillors wish to ask about this particular application whilst we'll bring it to the agenda in a moment then. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Anybody else want to speak?
From the floor here? Probably not, no, because I'll be inviting Adam later. Mr. Holland, are you wishing to speak to council?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in response to the chat just then, I'm actually from 41 Norn Road, so I live in the house in front of their house, or at the back of their house. So yeah, I wrote some objections on the planning app, mainly to do with the balcony, not the extension itself, but the balcony, because there's already balconies there. There's already existing balconies overlooking our property, and we think an extension of the balcony would further infringe on our privacy. So I'm against that. There's also a TPO tree which has been damaged. I'm not sure by who, but it's in between our properties, and I had concerns over that. I haven't heard back from the council reference that yet. So yeah, my objections can clearly be seen on the planning application. There's no point in me going over them further, but yeah, and that was it really.
Right, fine. Thank you, Mr. Holland. Thanks. Right, we'll launch into the planning applications. If it's okay with you, I'll just go through the agenda as it's in front of us, because I don't think it will take too long before we get to Kilkenny. So we'll start with 1219, 29 Newfoundland Way, proposed direction of a single-storey rear and side extension. Fairly straightforward. First house on Newfoundland Way. And it's, in my opinion, nothing to object to. Any comments from? No. Proposer, please. No objection. Martin, seconded. I'll second it. All in favour of no objection? Thank you. 7 Station Road, 1301. Proposed direction of a part single, part 2-storey rear extension. There have been others in a similar fashion on Station Road over the years. Again, I don't see any particular objection to it. In fact, I think it's very well designed, and proportionally it sits very comfortably on the back of the house. Any further comments? No. Proposer for no objection? Mariam, seconded. David, and all in favour of no objection. Thank you. The 11 Highlands Road, 1319, we dealt with this a few months ago. It's a self-build, and they're just asking to discharge condition 3, which relates to exterior material schedules and surface water strategy. Comments, any of you? I don't think this was it a planning application we vote on? Was it just an observation? No. All in favour anyway, I believe.
So no objection?
No objections on that, no. Ditto 1331, the pavement outside Homestead. It's not a planning application in relation to broadband. Right. 1347, 10 Kilkenny Place. So a bit of background on this one. It's within the conservation area, which is West Hill and Welly Bottom, and the applicant's garden is on the boundary of the northern boundary at one point. The single-storey rear extension will be the width of the property, and the balcony legs will therefore straddle that and therefore be increased in width, which is the issue online from the objections. So, Roger.
Sorry, Chair, could I just ask that you explain what our position is for the gentleman?
In what respect to that? Well, we don't make a decision.
Council, yeah.
Yes, we're not making a decision. I explained it to them when I went and visited. We just make advice, which North Somerset Council then take on board, and they're the ones that make the decision. So our comments in relation to all the planning applications are just advisory. Right, David?
I agree. The conservatory looks to be in keeping with the house next door. So I can't think we've got an issue with that.
It's an extension rather than a conservatory, but it would be the same sort of block plan.
And the other issue, it's the house is in a conservation area, but it's not really visible from anywhere. So I don't think the aesthetics of any change are relevant. My only concern, I think this was raised by, and this is the only application with objections to it of the ones we're looking at today. There are 4 objections, so it's worth having a discussion about it. Is the proposed balcony. It's difficult to see in the plans its exact size. It looks like it's going to stick out as far as the other ones from the drawings, but there are no actual measurements on it to test that. And it's going to be different in overall size to the other balconies. I think there are two balcony designs. There's the existing one on the actual property, which is present on, I think, 5 of the other properties in that little row. And then there's a kind of semicircular design, which is a little bit bigger, which is present on 2 of the other properties. And I suppose the question is, why not go for that kind of design that's in keeping with the other balconies there, rather than have a kind of third sort of design in that row of houses?
My take on it, David, was that it was the same depth balcony, just having 2 wings put onto it, so to speak, to take into consideration the new structure to hold it up. And therefore, I didn't feel that it was going to increase in size other than its length. But
so the other balconies that are bigger have a slight the kind of elliptoid rather than being square.
Next door
so
does.
The question I have is why go for a square additional balcony rather than a kind of more elliptoid one?
Yeah, well, yes, I mean, it is true that. Yeah, there was one next door above.
So our anticipation was that the balcony that we would have on the first floor would be identical to the balcony on the next house to us, which is actually on the second floor, which is where you have more visibility over the properties at the back, because they're on the second floor. But we're not extending the second floor balcony. We're just taking the first floor balcony, so it has extended ends. Rightly, as you said, Mr. Chairman, to take the poles outside of the house because you don't want them in the middle of your
same appearance.
Same appearance. So the aesthetics of the property would be the same if you looked at balcony design. It's not going to be a different, not going to be a third design. It would be the similar design, the same design as what is already on the second floor of the house next to us.
And I think, having read the objections, one of the objections was concerned about the overall size and there being no actual measurements on the architect's drawings.
You could take that up with our architect.
As for the overlooking, I visited Mr. Holland's garden as well, and we walked up. It's tiered, and in the top tier of the garden, yes, you can see the balconies of the Kilkenny, but I didn't feel that it was, in my opinion, going to be a major issue in terms of overlooking. Comments?
Were there other comments as well about the yew tree in the?
The yew tree is not part of this application. I mean, we've looked into this matter. The curtilage, from what we can see, here's a picture of the balconies, by the way. The curtilage of the site does include that bottom section of land. This is a land registry document, and it shows this bit of no man's land stretching down the back of Kilkenny properties. Does show the boundary on this particular instance, number 10, going up to the edge, outer edge, which includes the yew tree. From my conversation with the applicants, they don't intend to see that tree being removed or changed, other than keeping it shaped. Roger.
Yeah, no, just to say that as always, we are bound to make our decision here in line with planning law and regulations, and therefore any comments on the yew tree isn't something that we can take into account in this application. So we should disregard that and just look at I think it's the overlooking issue, isn't it? Equally, any boundary disputes are not something that we can take into account either. So we literally just have to look at the application as it stands before us.
Yep, indeed. Any further comments? I'm going to propose no objection.
Second that.
All in favour of no objection? You abstaining? Okay.
Can we ask them to clarify the measurements? We just put a side,
yes.
Can we have a side comment that just says
yes.
measurements need to be clarified?
We're sort of a bit used to the plans from Bower House.
Yeah.
Aren't we, Sharon?
Yeah, they're a bit hopeless for that.
All right.
Is that okay, Sharon, to just make that note? Thank you.
Thank you. Right. 51 Wood Hill, 1363. This is the demolition of the existing rear garage and gate on Battery Lane and creation of a gravel parking area for easier vehicular access and installation of an electric vehicle charging point. Proposed erection of replacement bifold gates across the access to the new parking area. You'll recall that some months ago they put an application in for removing the front garden on Wood Hill, removing the wall and having an off-street parking space for charging their electric vehicle. We refused it. North Somerset obviously refused it. Again, it's in the conservation area for Wood Hill. And so this is the alternative they're bringing forward to the table. And the photographs of the garage are here. So it's one half of a pair of garages, although I think they're both independent of each other. And as you can see, it's in a bit of a state. And aesthetically, the garden, the gates they're proposing seem very appropriate and attractive for the area in which it sits. And again, they're right on the boundary of the conservation area at the rear. So I have no objection to this. Any comments from anyone else? I propose no objection. Seconded by David. All in favour? Right. Okay. Okay. So 6 Parsonage Court. Are we making this is just information, isn't it? It's a TPO.
Application to the conservation area.
Right. Yes. Again, Court Farm Conservation Area, Parsonage Courts, a couple of trees at the rear, and an ash. Well, we all know what's happened to those. Raising the canopy to 5 meters and reducing it to 2. I'm not really sure what's going on there. So, but it sits fairly innocuously at the rear of the property, I think, doesn't it, against Petersfield, and we all know what's happened down there currently. So, right, as I said, I don't think it's a voting matter on that one. Right?
Not unless you wanted to.
No. Do we want?
Could just ask for some clarity. It just seems to raise it by 2 meters and reduce it by 5 meters.
Raise it by 5 and reduce by 2.
Right. Doesn't make sense to me.
Are we minded to have it TPO'd? No.
I don't think we quite understand what that means, but
well, we don't really know what state it's in, being an ash anyway.
Sharon, can you do your mime again?
Let's move on. 18 Beach Road West. Now, this is quite an interesting one. As you know, this is the Beach Road West bit that overlooks the lake grounds directly. A number of the properties along there have been altered over the years. They're all detached. And this one is quite major change to its front elevation, but not a lot of difference in terms of what they're proposing to change than the one next door. So ridge height stays the same. It's set further back than the other pair on each side, the neighbours, and the dormer, central dormer at the moment in the roof, is replaced by a pair. And yeah. So I can circulate that if you wish. Comments, please. I think the precedent's already been set in Beach Road West along that stretch. Various styles of houses. And as I said, they've changed over the years, and it was inevitable that this one, which is fairly original, I should think, from the 60s, if not earlier, was likely to get changed in due course. And that's currently what the residents feel that they want to do. Right. Any objections? Any comments? No. Someone propose something?
There's no objection.
Thank you, Paul. Seconded by Roger. All in favour? No objection? Abstain? Okay. Tim's abstained. Certainly in your ward. Well, that's a subjective opinion, so it won't come into the conversation. 1 Quantock Road, 1255, proposed removal of existing lean-to conservatory and erection of a new larger conservatory to the rear elevation. Any comments in relation to this one? Yeah.
No objection.
Thank you. Yeah, seconded by David. All in favour. Yeah. 1351 7 Wood Hill Road. This is further down Wood Hill. Actually, it's pretty close to the Abbey, which we talked about earlier. Proposed renovation of the existing dwelling, including erection of a single-storey rear and front extensions, creation of a flat roof front dormer, replacement of all fenestration, including the doors and roofing and cladding and render, and landscaping and hard or standing alterations. Well, existing and proposed. So there we go. I can circulate that, existing and proposed. My view is it improves the front elevation. It modernizes it. And I feel it's an enhancement to the street scene. So I propose no objection. David?
I agree. I think the main dwelling is an improvement. My only slight concern is with the outbuilding, which is, I think, quite high compared to normal heights for the sort of, I think it's 2.5 metres that's normally allowed for outbuildings. And this is quite a visible property from around the lake grounds higher up. So I would support it, but I would make a note, is that outbuilding too tall?
I did look into this, and yes, you're quite correct. 2.5 metres if it's within 2 metres of a boundary wall, and it can be higher, up to 3 or thereabouts, if it's further in the garden space at the back. I don't know whether it's shown on the plan as where it sits in relation to the boundary wall of the neighbours. No, but I think that's worth making a note of. Because it's what, 2.85 on the plan? I think you commented it was 2.85. 89. I think, Sharon, if you could make a note of that, please. We have no objections to the planning application, but just noted that
for them to consider
the garden room height seems that it could be in excess of regulations, planning regulations. All right. 1
You're going to vote on that, sorry.
Can do.
Yeah.
Paul's
objection with that comment, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No objection on that comment. All in favour. Yep. 1478 22 Riverleys, non-material amendment to this application, which is ongoing at the moment, and it's in the rear. I don't see any issues with this one at all. No objection.
No objection, yeah.
No objection. Seconded by Paul. All in favour? No objection. Thank you.
We're going to do Hillcrest Road. You missed one out, I think.
Do that one.
Well, I mean, it's yeah.
Did I miss one out?
Yeah.
Apologies. Yes, 1468. I did, didn't I? A certificate of lawfulness for the erection of the replacement garage, carport and driveway, including works to the existing walls and terracing, undertaken during the years 2014 to 2020. So, yes, it sits on Hillcrest, and the works have already been completed. So, yeah, very, very retrospective, yes. Any comments from anyone? It's if you which I've done, I've looked at it, and it seems fine. I've no objections. So All in favour of no objection? Yep. Carried. So that is that, isn't it?
Chairman, perhaps leave a comment that any future works they should consult the council first, or do a planning application beforehand.
Yes, we'll note that it's
Retrospective.
right. Late planning applications, we had 10 Stafford Road in. I've looked at this. I hope some of you have, if not all of you. It's the demolition of the existing conservatory and proposed erection of a single-storey rear extension, which is almost identical on the footprint, height, width. I don't see any issues with it. Shall we clear it off this agenda tonight? Okay, so
We could edit it on here, that's why I haven't written it, but I could.
Propose, Martin?
I'll propose that.
Okay, second, Marianne. All in favour of no objection? Thank you. Roger? Okay. Right, so that's planning applications. So we'll move on to highways improvement request. Got the two, one of which we've already discussed, but we'll come back to it. Second one is the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit outside St. Peter's, St. Joseph's and Gordona schools. To designate a 20-mile-an-hour area around roads directly adjacent to St. Peter's, St. Joseph's and Gordona schools, installation of white markings on the ground with flashing 20-mile-an-hour signs during school pickup and drop-off times, footpath or pavement at the end. I'm not sure of the relevance of that. I was surprised that they weren't already actually at 20.
Oh, that was my comment. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This wasn't how many years ago.
Yeah. I mean, St. Barnabas, when before that closed, they had flashing beacons in 20.
Are they not 20 miles an hour outside of all those schools already? And are they not talking about roads adjacent to those roads? I'm not sure, but I thought all of those areas were already 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, so I did the report. I sent it in to Sharon. We've been consulting with the headmasters of St. Joseph's and St. Peter's and Gordano. They aren't currently 20-mile-an-hour zones, all of them, especially outside St. Peter's and St. Joseph's, where if the M5 is closed, then they'll be using that Bristol Road to come at really fast speeds through our town. So it's that triangle where all these three schools are that we want to make a 20-mile-an-hour zone and have those flashing lights for the signs like they have in Highdown during school times as well. So I think we've had a few incidents as well with children, close near misses. We don't want to be having a fatality before we react.
See, I thought it was mandatory around all schools at arrival and departure time.
It's a main B road that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't done that.
I think
see.
Lipgate Place is 20 miles an hour, isn't it? Outside of Gordano School, because that's where we had the incident on the zebra crossing not long back in a zone which is already 20 miles an hour. But maybe it doesn't extend back to St. Joseph's School, but just covering that whole area as a 20 probably makes perfect sense. Yeah.
With the appropriate signage, as you've alluded to.
Just because we put 20-mile-an-hour signs up doesn't mean to say people will actually go 20 miles an hour.
More likely to than if there are no signs. So
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the point.
If they're not familiar with our areas and don't know that those are schools around there.
I'm assuming that we're all in favour of this happening, aren't we? So I don't know whether it needs. We're supporting an application, yeah. If you wish. Yeah, we're all in favour of it, yes. So that's that one. And then the other one is the situation which has been discussed this evening, double yellows outside Highdown, section on Down Road itself, opposite the T-junction, and a stretch of the Downs, up down as far as the Deans. So there's that one and the T-bars. Well, H-bars rather.
And what Sue says, it sounds we now need to split this up because it seems to be two processes. One that we approve it and put it through, and then the other one you have to go to the district council.
And I think we're all in agreement that we'll put this now on the register as something that needs addressing.
I think just by supporting it, we can just deal with the process, can't we?
Yeah. Okay. So we just approve all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I'll
Propose it. Second.
Propose it,
Right.
that's one. That's the word, yeah.
I think we're all in favour of that. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Move.
I know I've got heeled shoes on, which is why it's making a noise. Just to say that the yellow lines for the bus stop and also the yellow lines the other side of the entrance to the Downs are fading, and I will be reporting them to North Somerset and asking them to repaint them. So I thought I'd just mention that.
The yellow lines on the other side of the Downs, did you say?
Yes.
So they're on.
They're
on this side.
Down road. Yeah, where you come up from the bottom of the Downs. In other words, you are coming up alongside the school.
Yeah.
When you get to the top, you can turn left to the school.
Yeah.
Or right to West Hill.
Yeah.
And it is on the side of going towards West Hill that those double yellow lines.
Right.
One of those lines there has basically gone, and that is quite a long area. So if that is repainted, that should give everybody a little bit more visibility.
Mind you, the whole road's collapsing though, isn't it?
It's been redone. I am on to that as well.
I'm not blaming you.
No, but I am in conversation with somebody from North Somerset, one of the other councillors, to actually come and have a look and see the state of it and how poor it is. I am trying.
Thanks, Sue.
I know I can be very trying. Thank you.
Right, agenda item 8.3, North Somerset Pharmaceutical Needs Assessment, P&A 2025-2028. So North Somerset Council, in partnership with Bristol City Council and South Gloucestershire, in consultation on the draft pharmaceutical needs assessment. So this is looking at the pharmacy services in the area and covers where pharmacies are located, what services they provide, whether the services meet the health needs of the local people, and the consultation is ongoing, and David's going to tell us all about it.
Well, you've all seen our draft response. It's a longish document, 75 pages. Which I had the pleasure to read through.
Well, I was just going to...
And I think the thing that concerned most of the folk I've spoken to is the summary says North Somerset currently has good coverage of essential pharmaceutical services with no significant gaps in provision. And it goes on to give a figure for the number of pharmacies per head of population, which Portishead is below the figure for North Somerset, 16.7 per 100,000 residents. We're at 11. I mean, basically one pharmacy short. We haven't got time, and I won't go through all the points I made in the letter, but we all know there's been significant concern amongst residents and the council in recent years since the closure of our two high street chains and the problems with the pharmacies in next to Portishead Medical Group. I've spoken to a couple of the pharmacies. I've spoken to Portishead Medical Group. Had some feedback from Claire, our partnerships and signposting officer, just to get a general sense from the community about what their worries are, and they're summarised in this response. And I've raised 8 issues. So really, it's just looking quickly. It's the loss of our high street presence of pharmacies, under provision of services. We haven't got any pharmacies that offer what they call extended pharmacy opening hours. People have to go to Clevedon or Weston if they want service after lunchtime on a Saturday or on a Sunday, or after 6 o'clock in the evening.
All of which Boots used to do, didn't they?
Yeah. There's also unreliability in pharmacy operations. The opening hours posted on the NHS website and actually in this report are not in keeping with the actual opening hours posted outside some of the pharmacies. There's a big difference between Waitrose pharmacy, for example, and what's posted online and in this report. The Portishead Medical Group are concerned that they've lost patients as a result of the poor service offered by the neighbouring pharmacy, which often closes at short notice during the daytime. So that, in brief, is the list of concerns. I won't go any further than that, and I guess we're just looking for your input and to see whether you're happy with the contents of the letter. It differs slightly from the one that was originally circulated with the minutes, and I've highlighted the areas where it differs in yellow, and they are as the result of feedback from Portishead Medical Group and our signposting officer, who flags issues about the access to care for working age people, and I've mentioned the concerns of Portishead Medical Group.
Before I just get you, Roger, to make a comment, David, you made mention of Portishead Medical Group being a bit disappointed about their next door pharmacy and the hours which they're keeping or not keeping. And are both that pharmacy and the one at Waitrose, are they in the same ownership? And is there an issue in relation to how they manage and run these pharmacies? Or do they have other shops in the area or in Bristol? Do you know anything about them? I've never heard of them before.
Anecdotally, I'm aware they run quite a number of chains. My daughter actually lives close to one of their branches in Bristol, which provides an excellent service.
I see.
I think the concerns are with the recent service offered in the two Portishead pharmacies.
Right. Roger.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to thank David for an excellent report. Lots of really good points in there and a very interesting read. I guess that there may be some pushback on the provision of pharmacies because there's no mention of online pharmacies and people. I mean, one of the things that they've said is that people are free to use online pharmacies, and that soaks up some of the need in the area. I mean, clearly that doesn't do anything for late night access and weekend access, but it does mean that a certain number of people have other options which aren't just high street options. And I'm not sure that was recognised in there. I'm not sure if there's any need to recognise it in there, but just to make sure you're aware that they could push back on that anyway. And I wonder if we should mention the lack of accessible access to our West Hill pharmacy. So we have one of the busiest pharmacies in the area that isn't accessible to wheelchair users.
I think the West Hill pharmacy's in there, isn't it, David? You've mentioned that one.
The pharmacy.
I wasn't aware of
Being
the
up the hill.
accessibility issue.
I think it's mentioned that it's up the hill. Sorry, John.
It was raised at the point of application. They also had a retrospective planning application a couple of months ago in respect to doing what they've done, joining the two shops together. We made a comment about the accessibility for wheelchair users as a point in that particular application. Is it on the list of approved plans?
I did see that you said it's up a hill with difficult access, but there is that there's a step like this to get in, which means that wheelchair users can't get in there, which is something that I know I've been banging on about for a long time, but I think it's something that should be addressed at some stage. Maybe there's mileage in inserting that in there as well.
If people are happy, I'd be happy to put a sentence in summarising that point.
Has everybody read the report and everybody happy with the contents to say it's all being read out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think so. Yes. Thank you, David. Just as a footnote, can we perhaps write a letter to the West Hill Pharmacy to get them to improve their front window? We've still got those boards there that have been there for about 2 years. Sue, maybe Sue can have a word with them.
She's busy. We'll speak to her later.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Is David proposing that? And if so, I'll second it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in agreement, David. Thank you. Sue, just in passing, the pharmacy up on West Hill, because we've just been discussing, could you maybe just have a word and see whether they can improve their front window? Those boards have been sitting in that window for a couple of years.
Yeah. That is their sort of storage area, their working area, where they're actually dispensing things, medicines rather than things.
It's hardly doing anything to enhance the
No.
reputation or the appearance of that rank of shops.
Yeah, I will have a word and see if they can do something about it.
Well done.
So also, do you want me to ask about the access for
Yes.
disabled people?
Well, we certainly made note of it when we put our
but yes,
approval in.
I would have thought if all of those doors in that row of shops are all of the same width, but I will ask, and because that may need, if that entrance door is not wide enough, that whole front really will have to be rethought.
Steps. There's a step up.
Yes. Well, I thought I had actually seen a slight ramp.
No, the width of the door is okay.
All right. Right,
it's the step up. If you could ask, they have been asked before. They've said it's not possible. We know that's not true.
I thought I had seen some sort of ramp actually, up to the door, but I will have another look when I go past.
I went there about 2 weeks ago and there wasn't one then.
Perhaps it had disappeared. Right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Sue. Right. 8.4 on the agenda is the appeal under section 78 for Glenorchy. Okay, going back again some months, you'll note that we approved the application for the third application, I think, on that site of their dwelling. And the dwelling had no fenestration on the north and south elevations. And that's the subject of the appeal which the applicants have made against North Somerset's decision, which is clause 3 of the decision notice, which reads, notwithstanding the provisions of the Town and Country Planning General Permitted Development England Order 2015 as amended, or any order revoking and reenacting that order with or without modification, no windows, roof lights or dormers other than any expressly authorised by this permission shall be inserted in the north and south elevations of the first floor without the prior written consent of the local planning authority. So the applicants are appealing against that decision that no windows, roof lights or dormers can be inserted into either of the north or south elevation of that property, which are both bedrooms. They're all bedrooms. And with windows at both ends, but not on the side elevations. The neighbours have commented, and neighbours on both sides, and they have, I quote, we would not object to roof lights and so would support an amended condition, but not the complete removal of the condition. So that's their view in respect to fenestration of any description on the north and south sides. So either we support the North Somerset's decision or we amend and accept what they're saying in terms of allowing perhaps in the future roof lights but not windows in the sides. Roger.
Yeah, could I see the recommendation here to note the opportunity to amend stroke withdraw comments but make no further comment. So can I make a recommendation that that's what we do, but at the same time that we pass the comments of the residents on to North Somerset for their consideration? So we say nothing, but we pass those across and say we've received these comments. You might want to take these into account.
Well, unless we take it a step further and perhaps agree that we would support their suggestion.
North Somerset, for whatever reason, they made that decision to put that condition on there. I'm assuming that was done by the planning officers who are professionals in that field. So I don't think I need to agree with them or disagree with them, but just to pass the comments on. So that would be my recommendation at this stage.
I'll second that. Yeah.
So you're suggesting that we just note that the residents either side have made this suggestion that they approve of roof lights, but we're sitting on the fence. We're not going to be saying yes or no either way.
Why can't we?
Would you prefer?
Seems a reasonable.
Well, that's a point which I feel I would be in agreement with, that we do support this suggestion that roof lights could be acceptable.
Yeah, I'd rather not, because I think I just can't understand why bedrooms on the first floor can't have windows. So I personally think if any house was being built and all of the other houses in that row, all the first floors have to the side, south end, north, have windows. And if somebody wanted in a bedroom, get some fresh air in, they'd need a window. So I couldn't support not. You know, if they're making a request to take that clause out, I would have supported it.
Well, you know why the clause is in.
I know.
Issues of overlooking, etc., etc.
I think it's.
We only have the opportunity to amend, withdraw our comments.
I personally would leave it as it is, and the case officers will need to. But they can see the comments from the residents anyway, can't they? So.
But I'm assuming that we can make.
I think
we can make a comment on the observations as coming forward from the neighbours.
But where are these comments? Are they not on the planning portal?
Yes, I believe they are. Yeah.
I don't think they can comment, can they, on appeals, residents? I think that's why it's coming through here. However, that said,
true, yes.
If we go back and just say no further comment from us, normally what I do is in the text, I lift the text from your discussions. So if you've discussed the comments that have come in from the neighbours.
Okay.
Well, it would seem to me that the committee sitting here this evening is fairly split on whether we agree, some of us, on the possibility that in the future roof lights would be acceptable. And I think three of us feel that way.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm not saying they're acceptable or not acceptable. I'm saying that's not really the question here. The question is whether or not we want to change our opinion on what we said earlier, and what we said earlier didn't, I think, include anything on the windows anyway. I think there are windows in those rooms, just not facing in that direction. So we're not talking about windowless rooms.
No, definitely not. No.
But should I say that at this stage we've got
windows.
A seconded proposal? Should we take a vote, see where we stand after that?
Before we do, can I just make you all aware that there is a further application sitting behind this one, which was fully approved at appeal for a much different house with windows on both elevations. On all elevations. So they could build that one and not have anything to do with this construction.
I think really, we're talking around in circles. The North Somerset planning officers need to decide what to do with this one. There's an appeal. They've got all this information. There's another planning application. They've got to sort it out. And I think that's it. So, yeah. So as Roger says, we have a motion seconded. So can we vote on that?
What we're voting on? Sorry, I'm a little bit lost here.
Is that what's the motion? How are we going to word it then? that the town council's minded to
So, Chair,
yes,
the
but
recommendation
I need some help on that one.
The recommendation as written.
Yep.
To make no further comment, but to note the comments submitted by the residents either side.
Which you have details of, do you?
Yeah.
Sure.
So that is.
Yep.
I second that.
Yeah.
Those in favour? Yeah.
Okay. Right. Oh, there was actually a lot more in relation to that, wasn't there? But I think we've gone through that now. Okay. 8.5 on the agenda is the new railway station. And this came to our attention. Sue, it's just a little bit distracting. Well, please feel free to do so in the foyer. Right. This is by far only a proportion of Network Rail's agenda, report on railway station construction. And Adam has come along this evening to talk us through the modular sort of design brief that a lot of the medium, mini-sized stations in the country sort of follow, because they're easy sort of modular design and construction. So, Adam, you're welcome to come and talk to us about this and the fact that you brought to our attention, with a letter written to Paul, in respect to the missing beacon tower, which we could have.
Hello.
And I think it's great seeing what you've done, bringing it to our attention. Is Portishead Rail Group have the details as well? And I think you've been in touch with them too.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Adam Stead. I worked as a railway engineer for 15 years, mostly in track and signalling projects and train projects. Once worked on a new station, redesign of a station. Chartered engineer. I changed career last year. I now work in insurance, so I've got no conflict in speaking to you here. But I moved to Portishead in 2019, and I'm really excited that we're getting the railway finally. I think it's an old school friend of mine, coincidentally, going back 20 years, works for the architect firm that did this new modular station concept for Network Rail, which set the new design standards that they published in 2021 to make it really easy to construct new stations in a format that's appealing to passengers and creates a prominent landmark in the town. You find in the design standard that there are category F to category E to category D stations, and it's a little bit hazy on what actually passenger numbers are expected at different stations, but I've done some analysis into similar stations and similar annual passenger numbers. And generally, like a category F station is for your smallest rural stations where you've got up to 100,000 annual passenger trips. A category E is from 100,000 up to 500,000. Category D is 250,000 up to potentially 2 million. I believe we're expecting around 350,000 plus initially, and then perhaps up to 500,000 annual passengers in future years using Portishead Station. And I believe we should have a Category D station according to the design standard. A Category D station includes not only the clock tower, actually a Category E station or even includes a clock tower, which I think would be a great landmark. It's illuminated as well, so it glows at night so that people can see where that is, especially visitors to the town. But other features are missing from the design standards, such as a waiting room, which I feel would be a basic feature that we should have with one train per hour and potentially inclement weather, and other features to the realms, such as planting areas. And from what I can see from the planning application last year, most of that is missing. Being a modular station concept, it goes together like Lego. So my friend at the architect's firm pointed out to me that the base of the clock tower is already in the design because it holds up the canopy. We've already got the base. The bit that's missing is the top. But other features, of course, are missing as well. And I wasn't able to see on the planning application last year anything beyond like the canopy and immediate proximity to see what the realm is like. But I feel personally that we're being a little bit shortchanged here, that the station is inadequate for the future needs of both visitors to the town and residents of the town. I set out on this going, wouldn't a clock tower be great? Because it would really improve the realm, make a really welcoming gateway and attract people to use the train station, getting people onto public transport. I thought that, that clock tower would be a great beacon. But I've come to the conclusion I don't think the station is really fit for purpose, and would love to explore that further and how we might